Alright guys, welcome to another video from XF Motorsports, and in this one, for a change, it's finally time to start work on the E55 ASL again, because in, well, literally 2 days from now, this car is going to be going to CSCS round 2, which is going to be the first time attack of the year here in Canada, because round 1 got cancelled because of the lockdown. So yeah, I've waited a really long time to get to this point, to finally get a chance to get in this car again and take it around the track. So I'm super excited about this one, but there is quite a lot to fix up on the car before we can well, get to that point. The floor needs a little bit of fixing up because well, I broke the bolts while driving it around. The front brakes are not working for some reason. I need to look into that, and one of the fuel pumps is not working. So quite a lot of little things actually to fix up on the car. We're also going to do some upgrades along the way. I need to add a new rear wing. I need to get the pedal shifter thing working on the car, and a few more other things that I'll talk about. And then yeah, we have really little time to get into, well, to get everything done to get this car track ready again. But yeah, let's get right to work, and later in this video we're going to be taking this car to the time attack and actually seeing how it does. So quickly giving you guys a walk around of the car and all the things we have to fix on it to get it ready for the track again. So yeah, the car has been standing over here all winter collecting a lot of dirt, and well, over time, yeah, there's also a few things that I, well, had to fix on it that I haven't even gotten to fixing on until now. So yeah, these front fenders, I had to mount them on properly. These were fenders that Karen made for the car, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, well, finish up on them and mount them properly for this event, because there's a bit of work that needs to be, well, done on them. So let's see if we even get to that part, but there's a few other, like, more important things that I need to do before that. So rather than talking about the work, I'll just show you guys everything that we did. So I started off by removing all the body work, and I got to removing the fuel pumps. So now that the fuel pump is replaced, I think all the fuel pump situation should be sorted and the car should start off fine. Let's actually give that a try and hope that we don't find anything else broken. Let me check if it's in neutral. Ignition and fuel are already on. Power, start button. There we go. Nice. Everything seems like, well, it's working the way I left it. Sounds pretty good. After that, I had to get to bleeding the front brakes because they weren't working properly, and yeah, weirdly there was a bubble in there. After taking that out, everything started working. So it's the next day now, and Matt is here, and it's time to get it started on the pneumatics. So, well, at this point we literally have 1 day left, but we have a working engine and working brakes, but we still have a lot more to do. So yeah, let's well, we were playing around with the pneumatics, just seeing where I left off last time with the whole controller and everything, which is pretty messy right now with the wiring. But now Matt is going to add his new controller in here and wire it all up with the existing wires, and hopefully try to get this whole shifting thing working. But as it turned out, after working on the shifting thing for quite a bit, the controller didn't work out, and we still needed more time to get everything working. We will get this working. It's just an electronic issue about getting it working, but for now, in the short amount of time we had, we couldn't really do anything about it. So after that, I got started on mounting the rear wing on the car. Okay, so after the welding, things are not looking, well, too good for this one, because I did a pretty okay job on these 2 welds, but then I got a little impatient when I started on this one, so I did a crappy weld on this one, and I, well, gave this one a little bit too much heat, and I melted the whole thing away. And yeah, that's really bad news, because that means I didn't have a spare one of these. That means I'll need to machine a new one of these, weld that back on, and then we'll get to putting the wing on so that we can, yeah, get this car back together. So let's well, rush things even more than we already were and see how quickly we can get everything done. Now for the wing, we actually made a previous video on making the rear wing. It was a pretty cool wing with the motor mounted on it that used to open and close like gearless on an F1 car. After that, a few other people bought it, so we had to make a few more of these, and well, this rear wing was actually one I made using some leftovers from some other customer rear wings, which is why it looked a little crappy, but I'm gonna finish it later on and make it look better too. But for now, yeah, we didn't mount the motor or anything, we just simply mounted the rear wing on so that we could have a wing for the track. But it's a really good wing, it's really lightweight, and it's supposed to make 400 kilograms of downforce at 200 kilometers per hour, so numbers wise, this wing is pretty amazing. So here's our quick easy way of lifting the car when we have to replace anything. We've just strapped it at the front hoop. It's roughly the center point of the front and rear tires, and since the car has a 50-50 weight distribution, it stays pretty level at that point. And of course the roll hoop is really strong, that one. It's meant to like both the rear rollover bar and the front one, they're supposed to take like 10 times the weight of the car or something in a rollover. So the thing with the floor now is this was the bolting point that sheared off. Same on the other side, that also sheared off, and the rest of all the bolts and everything are under the floor properly, and everything is holding up. It's a pretty solid floor actually. It hasn't given too much trouble, even though it scrapes the track an awful lot sometimes when I drive it. But for now, well, my plan before was to add change the whole bolting system, add bolts on the side like L brackets and bolts on the side, so there's nothing underneath to wear out. But since we've ran a little bit out of time, we've wasted too much time with the electronics trying to, well, do that and also mounting the rear wing and all that stuff. That's why we barely have any time left. Yeah, we're just gonna be putting the same crappy bolts underneath the floor, just cleaning up everything, getting everything ready so that it's good to go on the track tomorrow. And yeah, unfortunately it's not going to be at its quickest pace this way without, well, half the things working, but still, at least it's better to have a car running rather than not even having a proper car running. So yeah, let's try to fix up everything quickly and then load the car up on the trailer.
We're happy to be able to do another event. We missed the first one due to COVID, and I see that a lot of people are not wearing masks. Well,
Car's finally here at TMP, and right now I have to wait a little bit before my session's on. I'm in group 1, which is the quickest group. And then after that I have to go on track and hope to do okay. Tire pressures right now are really low. I've taken them all the way down to 11. I've never run them this low. Like, look at this. It's literally like a go-kart tire right now. But the lower I've run the car, it's always gripped better. That's why I want to give this a try, but I really will have to watch out for curbs and everything, because, well, Pirelli's at low pressure. I don't want to end up like Max Verstappen blowing up a tire or something. But yeah, let's see how it goes. And that's Sheng, by the way. You haven't seen him on the channel yet. Hopefully you will see him soon. Well, he's a mechanical engineering student right now, and he's helping out at the shop too with a few things. This is a trailer, and while driving in I made a bit of a stupid mistake, a ridiculous thing. I drove over a curb and I blew one of my tires. So yeah, kind of turning out to be an unlucky, well, everything that we've tried to do for this event really. But yeah, let's try to go out there and see what the car does in whatever form it's in right now. Going out for the first qualifying, I was pretty surprised that things actually went fairly well. The tires got up to temperature fairly quickly because I guess it was a really warm day. It was 30 degrees outside, and after that I did a hot lap. I didn't push the car too much because it was just the first session of the day. I didn't want to go too crazy, but still the car gave a really good lap time of 1 minute 17, good enough to put me on 3rd place overall at that time. So after the first time out, the crappy thing is I have no idea what the lap time was. I guess I'll post it on the screen if that camera was running, so well, you guys will know the lap time. But that timer, my lap timer, was set to 0 to 60 times, and the live timing, well, from the event isn't really working right now. But the good thing is the car is actually doing pretty well. It seems like 11 psi on these tires is the setting that works properly. For the first time I was able to get the front tires up to temperature. They were actually squealing. I've never heard these tires squeal before, so that's really good actually. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way the car is feeling actually. As a driver though, I still need to do better. I wasn't pushing the car as much, still not braking as late as I could have braked, still not using the full width of the track, but that's something that I guess once again a little more confidence and work on my driving I might be able to get to, but at least car wise I think it's feeling pretty good. Yeah, next I'll set up the thermal camera this time. Let's see if I can show you guys the tire temperatures while it's actually on the track. And well, I'm gonna try to chase a faster car this time so I can learn from their driving and like get my lines and everything right. So yeah, let's keep working on it. The car, even though we didn't get to do all the upgrades that we had to do for this event, it still feels pretty good. It feels like a proper race car. It grips really well, does everything it should be doing, so that's really good. Next is just up to me to work on my driving, see what type of lap times I can get today. So going out the next time, I did set up my thermal camera, and this time it was really cool to see that you can actually see the tires coming up to temperature while I'm warming them. So that really helped me as a driver too, because I could actually see the tire temperature rather than just predicting what it would be, judging by how the car was feeling. For this session, I decided to follow a few faster drivers, just so that I could learn from their lines and hopefully improve my driving a little bit. So first I was following Scott Chadbolt. He has a BMW M3. He's one of the quicker competitors over here. Usually he always wins in his category. It's a supercharged M3, making I think about 500 wheel horsepower, converted into a race car obviously, with the full roll cage and everything. So yeah, here's a few laps driving behind him. After that, I decided to follow a Porsche GT3 RS by M-Tech Auto. These guys are really quick, by the way. Usually Porsche GT3s are quick enough anyways in terms of lap time, but these guys are even the quickest amongst the Porsche people. So I'll just let you guys watch one of his laps as well. Now his car might look a little slow because obviously my car has a better power to weight ratio, that's why I can keep up to him no problem. But if you look at his driving, for the car that he's driving, the lap times that he's getting is absolutely amazing. So after the fourth session, I came back in. This is the first time I actually found how to manage tire temperatures properly on this one. So I was paying attention with the tire thermal camera. I'm not sure if the cameras and everything are set up, but it seems like they're close enough. But when I go in the braking zones and I go hard on the brakes, I put a lot of temperature in the front tires. Then they cool down really quickly too. So if I can go really late on the brakes, keep that temperature through the corners, I think the car will go a lot faster. So I'll try that next session. I'll try to work on my driving a little bit, but yeah, tire temperatures definitely help a lot on this one. So the next session I made a massively stupid mistake and I didn't put enough fuel before going on the track, and luckily I was able to pull off the track without the car dying on the track, but it did die in the pit lane, which is why we had to push the car back. The fuel level sensor wasn't working this time, which is why, well, partly because why I made that mistake, but really I should have checked the fuel and made sure there was enough fuel. To avoid making any other stupid mistakes, I decided to take the time and just check over everything. So I took all the body work off, measured the engine oil level, power steering level, brake fluid. I re-bled the brakes just to be extra safe that nothing happened on the track. And sure enough, everything was good, but it was still better to make sure before the final qualifying and the time attack that everything was keeping in good shape. So after that, for the final qualifying, luckily my friend got kicked out because he did not sign the safety waiver or something. So, well, it was lucky for me because the car was lighter now, and I think I drove better this time too. The lap time this time, according to my lap timer, was 1 minute 16, but the problem was that my transponder was not working for the whole qualifying, so none of my lap times after the first qualifying actually got registered for the qualifying lap times. But that's okay because they did fix the transponder for the final time attack then. So after the qualifying is the final time attack, and if you do manage to qualify, then all the qualifying times basically get taken away, and then after that you only have 5 laps to set your best lap, and based on whatever lap you set then, the event positions get decided. So 5 laps really just means 3 hot laps, because the first lap is just an out lap where you warm up your tires, and the last lap is just a cool down lap because you don't get to finish that lap, you have to pull into the pits at the end of that lap. So for my first hot lap, I didn't really warm up my rear tires to the fullest, so that's where the car was a little squirmy at the back. I only managed a 1 minute 18 that lap, so that's why the lap after that I decided to put some more heat in my tires. I took it as another warm-up lap, and then after that basically I only had 1 hot lap left, which, well, wasn't really a perfect lap, but I still managed a pretty good lap time, I think. look at the final results. I managed a 116.9 on that final lap, which was good enough for 6th place overall. I won my category by default because I was the only one in the exhibition that day, so I had to go through the embarrassment of being the only guy on the podium in exhibition again. There usually are a few other cars at exhibition like Bradicals, Ariel Adams, even the Lamborghini Gallardo Super Trofeo that was on this event should have been an exhibition, but they let him in unlimited. But yeah, I really hope the exhibition category picks up sometime later, so I also have some more competition. But really the goal I'm aiming for is to win the CSCS overall, to get the best overall lap times, because I really think I have the car to do that. I just need to get my driving up to the level of all the other people out there in order to do that. Okay, so that's the end of the event, and overall in total I think I'm pretty happy with the result. I got first place by default because I was the only one in exhibition, but it did a 116.6. That's the quickest time I've done on these tires, because when I switched from the older tires to these tires I lost like 2 seconds, but now I guess finally, because I know how to get these tires at the temperature, I am getting good grip out of them. But that said, it's already time to change them because I locked up on one of the corners, and here's what I did to the front tire. So quite a flat spot over here, and yeah, it's burned right through the things here. Yeah, so it's these tires are gone now, but that's fine because I was planning to change them anyways. I wanted to go with much grippier tires. These are the hardest of the hardest slick tire compound, the DH slicks. So next my choice of tires is going to be Hoosier. I wanted to go with their A7 or R7, I'm not sure which one, but I think I'm pretty happy with considering how bad everything was going this morning and like getting the car ready for this event, and still how good the car did after all that. So yeah, pretty happy. So that was everything for the CSCS. Now the car is back at the shop. The only casualty of the day was the trailer tire that I blew up, but luckily Stefan came to save the day. He brought another tire, he was able to put it on the trailer, and we made it back safely. So big thanks to Stefan for that. The car is, well, of course it's back in one piece. It did really well, other than, well, me damaging the tire because of a flat spot. The car itself, I was pretty surprised, even with like us not finishing up on everything and our like incomplete preparation. It performed really well. Me as a driver, I could have done better. Looking back at the telemetry, I was braking really early. There was easily another 2 seconds to gain if I was to drive the car properly. But that said, the little amount of time I've had in the car this year, the last 8 months I haven't been on the track. And well, yeah, the thing is, it just scares the crap out of me, like coming that quickly into a corner. You see the corner approaching that quickly, even though you know you can brake that little bit later, but having the actual confidence to actually brake that much later, it's gonna take a bit of time, but yeah, the car also, well, we're gonna be improving it. Next up, for the next time attack, our plan is to actually finish up the car, put the fenders on, put all the bodywork on, because, well, even right now, the downforce, the incomplete bodywork that the car has on it is making enough downforce that when you're going down the streets at like 220 kilometers per hour, these front coilovers are compressed completely. They're right up against the bump rubbers. Same on the back. We had a camera mounted on the back ones as well, and they compress completely all the way to the bump rubbers. So that's how much downforce the car is making right now. And according to the numbers, according to the suspension numbers, the car actually needed to make 1,000 kilograms of downforce to do that. So right now it would be making 1,000 kilograms of downforce going down the streets, which is insane. It's more than the weight of the car. And you definitely feel that as well when you're driving the car, because at high speed you cannot make the car brake loose. You can go as hard on the brakes as possible. The tires don't lock up. They lock up when the car slows down, but they definitely wouldn't lock up when it's going that fast, and the downforce is still going to go higher once we mount the front fenders on, once we mount the few other dive planes and stuff that we needed on the front. The tires too, of course, I'm going to be changing, which I had to change for this event, but this event, yeah, we didn't really get any time to do anything. But yeah, next up, better tires, more downforce, more power actually, because this engine is still only running at 500 wheel horsepower, which is nothing for this engine. It's literally not even having any trouble making that much power. So hopefully once we make all these future changes, and the biggest change that I really want to make is get that transmission shifting thing working, because, well, right now through all the slower parts of the track I was just running in third gear. I wasn't even putting the car in second gear, so it wasn't in its proper power band. That's why coming out of the slower corners there was a massive disadvantage. The turbos weren't even spooling up. The car was just lugging around at like 3,000 RPM until it gets to 4,000 RPM. That's when the turbos kick in and everything just starts going. But once I start using all the gears, once all the downforce is here, there's a lot of time to gain right now in this car. So I've set myself a goal by CSCS round 5. I want to go out on track and I want to do a 1 minute 12-second lap, which is going to be really quick. My overall goal for this car when I was making it, according to the numbers and according to all the simulations that I did how the car would perform, the number that I got was 1 minute 10 second around TMP, and now actually looking at the real numbers, I think those numbers were really accurate. But of course, first I need to finish up on everything and, well, then learn how to drive it. In terms of the overall direction that things are going in with this car, they're definitely heading in the right direction. Everything we're changing on it is definitely helping. All the little bugs and stuff that initially we had to deal with are all worked out. The car is really reliable now, doesn't give any trouble running it lap after lap, other than like it overheating this time like a few times and cutting power because it was a really hot day. But that I probably wouldn't even bother with, because I know on a cooler day it doesn't do that. So yeah, all other things are looking pretty good. That said, this summer I've given myself the goal. I want to finish this car up completely, make all the body work for it, finish up all this crappy looking carbon fiber so it looks proper, wrapping this car in its final colors and basically making it look exactly like it was in the design, and then just calling it a day with this car. And then after that, we have an even faster project coming out. Everything that this car is doing right now, the next project, the F1 project that we're working on, we're basically taking everything we've learned from this project and applying it on that one, which is a project that is much crazier than this one. It's going to have twice the power to weight ratio of this car, actually, twice the level of downforce, way lighter than this car. So basically everything that this car is doing right now, all these numbers are also going to look like crap by hopefully sometime by the end of this year or early next year, when you guys see that car going out on track. And I will definitely make sure that that car takes the track record around TMP, because, well, even this car I'm pretty sure is going to get really close to the track record by the end. But that one for sure, I can tell you that it will definitely take the track record. It's going to be a crazy car. It's going to be an insane car by the time we get done with that one. But also, one more announcement. Big thanks to all these people that well, supported the project on Patreon all the way back from when I was actually building this car in my home garage and I didn't even have this shop. But yeah, let's try to get this car done entirely by September with all the body work, all the features working. That's going to be everything for this video. If you want to stay tuned with all the progress on this car, definitely consider subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell. This September, hopefully, yeah, that's going to be the final time when this car all gets done and heads out on track in its final form. And then, well, we'll see what lap time it gets. So yeah, really excited about what's coming up. Stay tuned. See you guys in the next one.